All right, this is the final stage of the whole thing. I'm wet sanding and polishing the car. Uh, I sprayed it with orange peel just so that I could flatten it down. And what that kind of does is that would, like the orange peel would act as like a filler almost. And then when you sand it, when you block it, it'll get every tiny, minute little imperfection in the paint, and then you polish it out. Like it takes hours. Well, it takes days to do a whole car, but anyway, this side is pretty much done. I have some touch-up work to do here and there, but it gives you an idea of the shine this thing will have. I haven't got the final polish on it yet, but this section I just started to do, just halfway over. So this is what it looks like pretty much when it's done. And then this is what it looks like when it's kind of at the stage of, the wet sand. You just take sandpaper, really fine sandpaper, like 800 up to 5,000 grit. Then you got to go over it about, with each grit, probably another 5 or 6 times, sanding the thing down. Sanding it up to a 5,000 grit and then polish. But you can see it's dull. That's what you want. Let me see what like right here, you can see that's called orange peel. All those little dots and whatnot. I'm gonna get all that out with the sandpaper so it's flat like this. So it's absolutely dull. And then what that'll do is that'll get rid of all the kind of the tiny little bumps. That'll be absolutely mirror finish, smooth. And that's what you want, right? So this is like the first polish, and then over to what I didn't do. So that's the difference. It has to be polished another probably 5 or 6 times for it to come back up to the quality of the fender in the back. But there, once all that is done, it's only basically this half to polish, and then this side, and then the whole car is done, except for a few odds and ends. I still have to paint these are the taillight buckets. They gotta be prepped and painted yet. That's not a big deal. These things, I'm just gonna blast them black. It's like the not the door hinges, but the hinges for the hood and the trunk. I'm just gonna do them up in like a matte black. Then inside of there, and then it's just basically, it'll be off to interior and then assembly after that. This has been over 1.5 years I've had this fucking thing. So I'm kind of and that's what it takes, man. When you get a car painted, you want to paint it right, and you want to paint it, with the right metal work and have the proper shrink times, where you got to wait for the Bondo to shrink and the paint to shrink and all that shit, so that when you go to polish it out, it's not going to crumple up on you. So you got to wait for all that shit to to dry, to cure properly, and then, do everything the proper way. That's where all the money comes from. It makes a difference between, painting a car of this caliber to painting just like an everyday car, to get them out so that people can drive them. You got to take your time, man, because it's easy to fuck up. So if I were to burn through this paint, polishing it, if I were to cut through here, I'd have to paint this whole section again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of you got to absolutely have 100% concentration. But I'm happy with how the car is turning out. It looks good. It's flat. It's straight. There's no waves in the thing. I didn't miss any dents. That's pretty fucking good. I'm happy. very happy with how it's starting to turn out. So cool. I got it fucking shoved in this corner of my shop, but when I get another few people in here, I'm gonna move this over, park that straighter. This is done for the season now. I pulled it off the road. This has to start running again. This is Adolf. I saved Adolf from going to the junkyard. And this thing's been a pain in my ass for about fucking 20 years. This was in the flood. So I gutted the interior out and cleaned up all the interior that I had in it. The tank was full of water, the gas tank. So I took it out and I fucking drained it and dried it. I found some broken wires on the fuel pump, which is right there. I'm not sure the fuel pump works. And then I'm not getting the right spark because I replaced the distributor in this thing because the other distributor was shit. And I don't know. I can't seem to get the timing right to get a good spark. It will run. I've had it like I've started it, but I filled up the inlet tank with just a little bit of gas, and it did run off of that. So I know that the car will run. But I just need to find the sweet spot anyway. This is like a project that I would like to do soon because I'm going to do the body and paint on it and drive it next summer. Anyway, here we go.